Hello and welcome back to War or Nothing, the number one podcast for amateur and professional boxing across the UK and beyond. We're back today with an action-packed episode. We're going to be talking all things Davis versus Jake Paul, which is coming up next month on Netflix. We're going to be diving into the much discussed topic of should fighters, specifically amateur fighters, be posting their training sessions and training footage online. And then we're going to take a little look at the small matter of Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather. So, I'm joined today, as always, by my co-host, Brandon Anthony State.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Literally. I am the only never in the world with that name. So,
how has your week been in the boxing world?
Yeah, it's been good. Had a little bit of time off last week for a nice wedding. You know, that was good, fun times. But it's nice to be back in the gym. You know, all the news has come out, so it makes our job a lot easier. And yeah.
Oh, you mentioned that you went to a wedding. Yeah. The number one question here is, did you end up shadowboxing on the dance floor?
Yeah, I did. I took center stage, man. My uncle, I love him. He came over to me and he was like, I've got some fancy dress costumes for you. Do this for me, will you? And I thought, actual wedding, why not? You know. So I went in there, John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever, a little bit of Prince from Purple Rain, and I hit some musical numbers in there, I'll tell you, on the dance floor, and I certainly did shadowbox.
I mean, for our listeners, you'll of course be just listening to this, but let me tell you, I've seen the video firsthand, and it is quite something. Yeah. So, Brandon, like I mentioned to you before we started recording here, I've been off and away doing bits with England Boxing again. So, shooting some videos for them, and that landed me in Boston, not America, Boston, Lincolnshire, and working with some amateur boxers there, which was exciting. But that took me mostly away from the boxing scene as a whole and all the professional news this week. So you've really, got more of a steer on this episode. But we're going to start with Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. Now, all I've seen this week is that it was I don't know if this was a dodgy link that I'd seen on Twitter or X, as it is now. But I thought the fight was called off at one point. I thought I'd seen reports of it in jeopardy, and then it was called off. So what we know so far is that Davis will go toe-to-toe with Paul over 10 3-minute rounds on November 14th with 12-ounce gloves. What do you think of that one?
I think it's stupid, really, to be honest. I don't think the fight should happen in the first place. One, because there's a massive weight difference, height difference, reach advantage, stuff like that. But it's like, it's well experience. You've got to think Gervonta Davis has a lot of amateur experience, and then obviously a lot of pro experience while being a world champion. It's one of these. It's money. It's a money grabber. That's all it is. That's all Jake Paul is, really, isn't he? He's a money grabber. He only fights for the money. He doesn't fight for legacy and all this stuff like other people do. He just fights for the money because, why wouldn't he? He's a solid businessman. Don't get me wrong. Out of this world on the scale of business. But in boxing, he's only fighting older men and people who are midgets. You know what I'm saying? Like, respectfully.
I'm the same size as Davis here. A staggering 5'5" for our listeners. But yeah, I get your point.
Right. And the only time he's ever fought someone his weight, his height, his experience in Tommy Fury, by the way, one of the worst Furies there is. I reckon John Fury is better than Tommy Fury, right? He lost. And it's like, man, it annoys me as someone who loves the sport, seeing this go on. It was like the Mike Tyson fight. I didn't want anything to know about it. Like, obviously, I'm going to watch it, don't get me wrong. But I shouldn't. But I will.
I think this is it, though. I think there's this, as much as everybody wants to criticize and poke fun and say that they're not interested, everybody's still tuning in.
Yeah,
if we go by the figures.
Watch it, yeah.
So I mean, this is it, and everybody's interested. He is clever in the sense that everybody wants to see him lose. Everybody wants to tune in. He's the anti-hero, isn't he? He's the villain.
It's a Mayweather effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mayweather said he became the villain because that's where the money was.
Yeah.
And everyone then was like, either I want to see him win, or everyone else was like, I'm going to watch this and hopefully he gets knocked spark out this time.
Now, there's been some controversy around this one in that Davis went on a little bit of a rant on X. I think it was last week, because we were recording this on Monday here. But despite initial reports that there would be no winner in this contest, there will actually be a winner, but it won't count on either's professional record.
No.
Now, to me, off the back of Davis's rant as well, where I believe he admitted to retiring after this one.
Yep.
Is this just a cash grab from Davis?
Yeah, of course it is. He's probably getting paid millions of money from Netflix and MVP. Because that's what they do. They pay people a lot of money to come and side with them. And, it's like, realistically, as a boxing fan, I would have much rather seen maybe the Lamont Roach Jr. rematch. Because that one ended in some controversy, in a draw. Where most people, including myself, thought Lamont Roach won that. Or I'd like to see the Shakur fight. Two absolute generational greats going in there and seeing who is the best at that weight.
There was news about Shakur eyeing up Teofimo.
Yep.
And then Teofimo basically saying, no, like, that's not happening. A lot going on there. So maybe there's something moving there. But from what I've read around the rant from Davis, he just seems a bit disillusioned with the sport. Apparently, he's been telling friends, he's fed up with it. He doesn't want to do it anymore. And, we said this time and time again, with people, if you're in the sport your entire life, since you're,
since he's been
a small
child, little kid,
you must hit that point where you think, I've made my money.
Yeah.
What am I doing this for now? If you're not getting the opportunities that you want, or bouts aren't going your way, decisions aren't going your way, you could be perhaps forgiven for thinking, is it time to hang up the gloves or cash in and get this big payday? Which to me, the suggestion of it not being on either's professional record kind of suggests to me that Davis just thinks, well, if I lose, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's one last little thing. Get my money, get my retirement money, get the pension plan in place. You know what I'm saying?
And people will forget.
Oh yeah,
because
they will.
The boxing world and the world in general moves fast. The news world, I know this firsthand. So yeah, it will be an interesting one. We will all still tune in, of course.
Yep.
Let's not kid anybody. We will still watch it. Just like I've watched pretty much every other Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, sadly same.
You can't look away. It's like a car crash in slow motion. But yeah, off the back of this, just something else I wanted to add to this Jake Paul scenario is he's been called out by Usyk.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
Yep. So Usyk, for starters, Dubois 2 with Usyk. Someone, don't know who, Mr. Warren, Mr. Bricksock, must have allowed this. Allowed Jake Paul to get into the ring and have a face-off with Usyk. Why? Money, baby. Call me Mr. Krabs, because I'm just obsessed with money right now. Because it's like, oh my days, man, what are you doing? That should have been... To be honest, I think the problem is Joseph Parker's too nice. He's not going to go in there and do it. So realistically, they needed that person to go, get him in there, get some attention after the fight. Because I think we all knew Dubois wasn't going to win that fight. Everyone was like, Usyk's got this in the bag. So I think they needed that extra bit of social media attention, where Fury brought that, Joshua brought that. Dubois never did. They never had that social media attention like they did for the other fights. So I think they thought, bring Jake Paul in, do this. And now this has spiraled to a case of Usyk going, my boxing chapter's nearly done. The book's closing very soon. And then afterwards, let's find out if you're all hype. Let's have an MMA match. I'm thinking, oh, days, man, what's going on?
I mean, as reported here by one of the newspapers Paul revealed his 5-year plan, which included having a baby, marrying his fiancée, and becoming a billionaire. So if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, that man is making the money moves. And yeah, fair play. Good luck to the...
I think we're just jealous, to be honest.
Yeah, we're haters, jealous haters. Moving on, I wanted to get into the main topic of this episode, which is something we have discussed off air, if you like, time and time again. That being amateur boxers specifically, and then posting themselves on social media, posting their training footage, being active across social channels in a bid to, build their profile, get their name out there. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Where do you stand on this?
It's like how many times we have this conversation now, and I think it always changes. The outcome always changes. It's like it's good, it's bad for a lot of different reasons. And me personally, I don't have a problem with it. I'll post anything. We've made videos of me training and stuff like that, and we've posted them. I'm not too bothered. But it's like I feel like some people, in kind of not a mean way, this kind of goes back to the Floyd era of, my record has to be absolutely perfect because that sells. And I think, obviously it does, don't get me wrong, it does. But I think kids nowadays see that era of boxing, and it's still kind of carried on to this era as well. And they've gone, what, I can't post anything, I want to stay top secret, I've got to keep this perfect record. And they think like a 5-10 second clip of them posting, hitting the bag is going to cost them a fight. When it's like, realistically, it's not going to cost you the fight. Anything that's going to cost you the fight is you on that day. Only you can underperform. Your video footage doesn't underperform, does it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, it's a weird scenario. I think it's good because when it creates a brand for that fighter, it gets you out into the public a lot more, gets you a fan base, and that's what you need, especially like high level amateurs who are looking to turn over. You need that branding, that popularity to be able to sell tickets. Because look at Johnny Fisher. I don't know if you've seen the Matchroom documentary thing that they've done, but literally, even Eddie said himself, they don't sign people with very low amateur experience, but it was all just because he could sell tickets. That's what it was that brought him over. And I think it's a good thing. I think gyms should do it more. I think they should post more stuff. I think fighters should definitely post more stuff. I think it's good for both fighters, gyms, managers, stuff like that, promotions. And I think it's good for the sport as well. Like, you think about it, football, right? It's constantly down your face, isn't it? It's like, it's on everything, especially in England.
Yeah.
It's like the football is linked with car companies now, all this stuff, because they're putting it out there. Whereas I think boxing, if you know boxing, you know it. But really, you go out on the street, you go, oh, do you know who this person is? I go, not really. And I think that's the case of people are too shy to do it.
Yeah, I agree with this. And I just picked up a copy of Ring Magazine here. Because in it there's a feature about Japanese superstar Tenshin. I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation there, but Tenshin Nasukawa, who that's probably not how you say his name, but he had success in kickboxing and MMA and has now embraced boxing. But in this interview, he mentions about, not studying his opponents too much, not studying their fights too much, in case, in fact, he says in the interview that he doesn't review any fight footage from his opponents. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but he said he doesn't review any, so he's not surprised if they throw something completely different than what he's seen on the videos. And I think that's a very good point. Are people really going to be poring over training footage of amateurs thinking, oh, well, he throws his left hook this way? Probably not.
You got what, three rounds?
Yeah.
What can you really do in that time where it's going to go, okay, he's throwing his left hook a little bit wide. Yeah, you might get 1 or 2 shots off, but realistically, you're not in a 12-round war, are you?
No.
You're not going to have time to set up those shots and go, okay, every time he drops his left hand, I'm going to feint down and come over the top with a lead hook or a rear hook. You know what I'm saying?
I think with this, it's an element of they feel like they're nervous to give something away. Amateur boxers I'm speaking about now, they're nervous to give something away. They think, oh God, they need this perfect record. record. But that stems down from watching the pros who are pro boxers, the big pro boxers, have the backing of, Under Armour, whoever else, like any specific brand that Nike or whoever that sponsors them. Then they get, because I'm in the industry, I know how it works, they get big production and film companies to come in and film their promos and just by the nature of having those types of sponsors and that type of money behind them and those types of film agencies behind them, you're going to end up having a polished, like decent looking, clean, like social media feed, that looks well presented and well put together and professional, right? You can't expect to have the same as an amateur. You don't have the backing of these sponsors. You don't have that type of financial resource. You don't have, unless you've got somebody willing to work for nothing, a professional film agency or production house that are going to come in and shoot promos for you week in, week out. So stop pretending to be that way. Do you know what I mean? Stop. It's almost like they're trying to give off the, and I get it, right? I'm not having a go. I'm not having a pop at amateur boxers, but I think there's this thing of trying to appear like you made it before you made it.
Yeah.
And it's to their own detriment, because we know boxers, and we'll name no names, but we know boxers that are very good, very talented. I met plenty of them across, the national championships this year, just gone. And some of them are just ghosts online. There's nothing to find. You don't know who they are. And so, like, how can you expect to then become a household name or get snapped up by
big promotional companies when you turn over?
When you've got
it's not gonna happen,
you've got nothing on you. You could have, and we know definitely of cases of this where you've got an incredible amateur record.
Oh yeah,
and yes, your name's been mentioned a few times, but nobody really knows you.
No,
because you're not posting anything.
No.
So I think as an amateur, in my opinion, keep posting.
I think a good case for this, Jaden Price. That's his name, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Because look at the kid. He's still undefeated. Now he's going to America, winning championships over there. He's going abroad and winning championships. Yet he's still posting footage and he's growing that brand. Like, he's half our age. Obviously double for you. But like, he's still a little kid. Now you imagine as he gets older, that's only going to grow.
Yeah.
And I think he is a good case of, you have the right plan of, okay, I want to be this. Obviously, his dream is probably to be a world champion, right? And he knows now this side of like social media is going to help push that. Because like you look at it, Vasily Lomachenko, right? Outstanding amateur career, was pushed heavily into the Olympics, stuff like that, was a well-known name in the boxing. Well, as soon as he turned over with Top Rank, it was in like his 8th, 9th fight. He was fighting for a world title.
It was his second fight,
Was it?
I read it today. It was his second fight.
Well, there you go, exactly. Yeah. Like, how crazy is that? You've literally just turned over professional and you're already fighting for a championship. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of problem is. It's like a lot of people, they don't see this side of boxing as boxing. They see it as more of like it's just a little game type thing. But realistically, in order to get big, you have to be known.
And me as if I'm putting myself in the position of a promotional company now, do I want the kid who's 75-0 in the amateurs, but you don't know anything about him? You don't know what he's like as a person outside of boxing. You don't know what he's like as an athlete inside the sport because there's no trace of him. Or do I want the kid that's 30 and
7,
7 or whatever,
but brings bums and seats,
sells tickets, is a well-known face.
You're going to pick that guy all day long, because obviously, as a promotional side, this is just me like speaking. As a promotional side, if that's me looking out, I'm going, okay, I can grow that lad higher and higher. But for that lad, the guy that has an amazing career, but isn't known at all and is just really see some random kid, I'm going to have to do a lot of work there, whereas he's already done a lot of it, and I can just kind of piggyback off that and help him.
Get on the coattails of
it, hop on the roller coaster, hop on the train, as it's already going by. Whereas the other kid, I've got to put the coal in, I've got to get everything going, the steam's got to warm up, all this stuff. And I think more people should do it. I think, Jake just record a little bit on the bag, like that. Is it Yash and Dylan?
Dylan and Yash.
Yeah, Dylan and Yash. Yeah, it's like, I think the way they do stuff, where sometimes I'll do like a body shot challenge or something like that, or it's just random stuff like that, but it's helping them with their profile.
See, now I had the privilege of meeting Dylan at the championships and then at the Three Nations as well. Very talented boxer, but put that to the side for a second. Understands the business of boxing, and so does his dad, who's his trainer as well, or in his corner at least. They understand the business of boxing, and by that I mean they understand that they've got to be visible, they've got to be out there, and to me they've nailed it. His dad, I'm not sure he won't mind me saying this, but he uses the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I saw at one of the championships to film clips and stuff. They just remain active, and they've built up a big fan base by doing that. And that is exactly the type of thing that I think promotional companies, your Matchrooms, your Queensberries, whoever else,
they'll look at that and go, we need that kid.
Exactly.
Because he can put bums in seats and he grabs attention. So if you need,
if you're an amateur boxer, then we say, I think we agree here that you should be active on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I will stress here that doesn't mean you need to hire a film crew and you need like the highest production value stuff. Use your phone.
Like most iPhones nowadays have better cameras than what we had when we were younger, wasn't it?
I mean, like, for goodness sake, look at Dave Allen. The guy, as somebody in the film industry, it infuriates me, but he sits on his sofa with his phone,
shirt off.
Half the time, half his head is cut out of the frame of the shot, and he just talks about boxing, and people love it because Dave Allen is Dave Allen. People love Dave Allen for who he is.
Exactly.
They want his opinion. I'm sure he could even not be in the frame and they'd still listen to what he's got to say. But if you're a young amateur boxer now, then what is the best way to go about building your profile online?
Start small. Don't think you're going to be at like the highest level of production, editing, all this stuff straight away, because let's be real, you're not. You've got to set expectations of when you first start out, it's probably not going to be the best looking. It's probably not going to be the best edited, unless you're me, of course, because I'm just naturally talented.
And who's the videographer that you've got on hand, is it?
Me, I'll just film in a mirror.
Yeah.
But just start small, if it's just, a lot of fighters go on runs, film your runs, say, as an amateur boxer, this is how I keep myself fit in my spare time, on your rest days, stuff like that, your meals, a lot of people like to see what a typical fighter will eat during a week or something like that. Do stuff like that. And what I would say as well, look at inspiration. Look at the people that have done it right, because obviously that's the winning formula. And yeah, it's okay to copy someone else's work, not bar for bar, word for word, but put your own spin on it. That's all it is. Take an idea. If you have a twist to it, add the twist, and just start from there, and then just grow your brand. When a fight comes up, record the day that you go there, what's your fight preparations like, because people like to see that. People are intrigued. I know me and you are as well. It's like, I remember Box Raw, they put out a lot of stuff. Joseph Parker puts out a lot of stuff. I know we're talking about professionals now, but it's like me and the days when we'd come into the gym in the morning and we'd go, Box Raw's put out a new thing with Bivol, and we were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go eat that. Like, I'm gonna warm my food up, stick that on the TV, and I'll watch that now while I eat.
Oh yeah,
you got to think about that's how other people will see that.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Just scrolling through their phone. Like, how many people now are sat on their phone at work or on a lunch break, stuff like that, or even at the gym at the time, just scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all these stuff. And then all of a sudden comes up something that they like, boxing, boom. Obviously a lot of people like boxing. And then they go, okay, how can I incorporate that into my training regime? Would that work for me? Stuff like that. I think, I think that's the key, is just starting small and building up, finding what works for you.
That's great. And I will, shameless self-plug here, but I am a videographer and a filmmaker, and I've been making exactly that with some of the best boxers around the country for England Boxing.
Oh, thank you, man.
I've been following them and around the preparations for the National Amateur Championships, and did bits of the Three Nations. And again, I will mention that those episodes are going live very shortly on England Boxing's The Locker. So make sure you get onto that and go and view those. But I will say, if you do want a bit of better production value, not necessarily me, but you can hire me if you like. But hire, save up and hire a videographer to come in for one day and film a bunch of clips that you can then use and use and use throughout the year. It doesn't have to be you film something, use it once, never use it again.
Exactly.
Think strategically how you can build your name and build your brand and who you are. And, if it is a bit of better production value that you have to hire a videographer for one day and make the most of that day is my advice. So start small and then consider using content that you can reuse or creating content that you can reuse rather. But yeah, I think for now, enough said on that, but it's a very, very interesting topic and I'm sure one we'll revisit at some point. So Mike Tyson, let's move on to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather. What's your opinion of Floyd Mayweather? Divorced of all the money stuff and as a boxer.
Honestly, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. Hot take here from Brando. I don't think he is as great as he is. Now, hear me out. I know I'm getting some hate comments right now. But hear me out. He fought a lot of people at a lot of times where it was better for him than the other person. Obviously, brilliant business move there. But in my eyes, I just don't think you could do that as a fighter. It's like I think he fought Canelo a bit too young. He fought Manny Pacquiao when he was a bit too old. He fought a lot of people when they were on the down. I hate saying, on the downslide, but realistically they were.
On the down or on the up.
Yeah, either they were too young, where like they're fresh and coming up, like Canelo, like your other fighters, he's fought a lot of people. I ain't remembering all of them. But, I think Canelo is the main case because Canelo has gone on to be undisputed at super middleweight, the first ever to do it. And I'd say that's when people think of Canelo. Now they don't think of young Canelo when he lost to Mayweather. They think of, the undisputed super middleweight champion of 168 going up to like heavyweight beating Kovalev and then coming back down to then defend his championships and then, doing stuff like that. So it's like, and it was the same with Pacquiao. You don't really remember the Floyd Pacquiao fight. It's like, you remember Pacquiao when he fought, lower weight classes. He's the only 8-class world champion in 8 different weight classes. So, I think for Floyd, it's one of those where it's like brilliant businessman, brilliant boxer. Like I can't take away from him. He's a really good boxer. But it's like I'm not a big fan.
I think my last kind of, last time I sort of like was invested in Floyd's career was rewatching the sparring between him and I forget the streamer's name now.
Jarvis.
Yeah. And I was talking to you about it, slowing it down and just watching the counters in like slow motion. It's like, wow, that's good. High level IQ.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fascinating to watch, but clever guy, clever businessman, clever fighter, has done it all right, in my opinion. I don't really understand that fight being made, if I'm honest, but we'll see.
Money.
It's always coming back to money.
It's always money. Moral of the story, kids, money. But no, it's like, they have beef, like don't get me wrong, like they do not like each other. I think it's the case of, Floyd Mayweather thinks he's the greatest of all time. Mike Tyson thinks Muhammad Ali's the greatest of all time. And I remember there is a clip out there of it was in, I think it was at the MGM Grand. It was for a fight. I think it might have been a Floyd fight, to be honest. And Mike Tyson was there. In some interview asked him, he says, Mike, Floyd said he's the greatest of all time. What do you think about that? And then he's like, nah, Ali's the greatest of all time. Like Floyd has to have like 15 bodyguards to take his kids to school, whereas Muhammad Ali literally just used to walk the streets with thousands of people walking around him like it was nothing. And I think, I think their hatred just hated because of that. Because obviously Mike Tyson, he loves Muhammad Ali, doesn't he? He's a big inspiration for him. And I think, when someone slanders your idol's name, you kind of do feel a bit of beef towards that person, don't you?
Now, the one thing is they've both been in exhibitions, right? So, I mean, like it says here, Mayweather last fought professionally in 2017, and that was, of course, against Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Which I think we all tuned in for that one. But then I do remember this. He had several exhibition fights. Most
Like,
recently versus John Gotti the third in August last year, and of course Tyson's had. It was an exhibition against Roy Jones
Jr.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul was pro actually.
Was it? It was a
It was a
professional bout.
professional fight. Yeah, you look on BoxRec because I looked the other day.
Yeah.
You look on BoxRec. It says Jake Paul loss. Like, I don't want to swear, but that.
Well, Tyson originally retired in 2005.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, he's still been training. I'll never forget, and I think it was for the Roy Jones Jr. fight, that he said when he started training again, there was this clip that surfaced of him looking as fast as he ever had done, as violent and, powerful as he ever had done. And then, like, after the fight came out, he was on a podcast, I think maybe Joe Rogan or something, I can't think. But he was saying he recorded that for social media, and then he had to lie down for a week.
Yeah.
Because his body just couldn't take it. And that, kids, is a lesson to you. Don't do it all for social media and show off if you can't actually sustain it in the ring and perform that way. Or maybe do that. I don't know if it sells tickets. Who am I to say? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. He didn't look great against Jake Paul. I'm not going to lie.
No.
Didn't look great.
He bit his gloves more than I think he landed punches.
Yeah, it was very odd to watch.
But he's 50.
Mm.
He's 50 plus, and he's like 52.
And the weight difference
is
crazy.
He's nearly the same age as my dad.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't put my dad in there with someone.
With Mike Tyson, yeah?
No, with just like anyone with like an amateur kid, to be honest. Like, you wouldn't do it, would you?
No.
It's a bit weird. It's for me, it's all money, isn't it? It's all money related. And obviously for them, that's all it is money.
Does it then veer on the edge of like becoming a gimmick in a way?
Oh yeah, it's just gimmick fights. I mean, I don't want to blame crossover fighting for it, but I think a lot of ex-professional fighters have seen that, social media stars fight, make a shit ton of money from it, and gone, actually, you know what? I've spent all my money that I made from boxing. I need, some more. I'm just going to do this. And it's their way of just keeping and doing something that they love. Obviously, and still getting a lot of money for it. And I don't blame them. I think we would probably do the same if the money was there. Why wouldn't you? I know I've unlicensed fights for money. So,
well, it's this whole thing: hit, don't get hit, get your money, get out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Won't be interesting to see how that develops. We've gone a little bit longer today, but we hope you've enjoyed what we've discussed. And as always, there'll be plenty more to come next week. I'm sure many updates with many different fights, and maybe even another super fight would have been made by then. Who knows? But yeah, thanks as always for joining us.
Yep.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, see you next week.